7 hidden traits of the most powerful dark chosen ones, top 1% secret. There are souls who walk this earth that were never meant to follow the path of the many. They were born to disturb the slumber of the world, to trigger awakening simply by existing. They don't shout. They don't beg to be seen. But when they enter a room, the atmosphere shifts. These are the dark chosen ones, the rare 1% who carry a frequency so ancient, so potent, so disruptive, that the world tries to bury them before they ever rise. But no matter how many times they're buried, they always come back, stronger, quieter, sharper. And if you're watching this, it's because something inside you already knows you are one of them. You've always known something was different about you. You felt it, even when there were no words for it. The first hidden trait of the dark chosen is the ability to see through illusion, often from a young age. While others accepted the stories they were told, we questioned them. While others believed what they were shown, we felt what was hidden. We could hear the lies behind the smiles, sense the manipulation behind the kindness. It made us seem cynical to others, but it wasn't cynicism, it was clarity. We weren't taught how to see the truth. We were born with the lens. And that lens is both a gift and a burden. Because once you see through the illusion, you can never unsee it. You walk through the world aware of the masks, the roles, the performance. You play along when you must, but deep inside you're always watching, always listening, always decoding. And that awareness isolates you, but it also protects you. It allows you to move in silence, to observe what others miss, to avoid traps meant for the unaware.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Another trait, one most people would never guess, is that dark chosen ons are often underestimated. We don't rise with fanfare. We don't announce ourselves with flashing lights. We're quiet storms. And because we don't seek external validation, people assume we have nothing to offer. They confuse our stillness for weakness, our humility for lack. But what they don't realize is that we've been in hiding not from fear, but from wisdom. The world wasn't ready for us, and we weren't ready to carry the weight of our power. So we were cloaked, silenced, dimmed, until the time was right, until the alignment clicked, until the soul said, now. And when it does, when a dark chosen one finally steps into their fullness, it's never gradual. It's seismic. But to get there, we must carry the third hidden trait, the willingness to be destroyed. Unlike others who build their identities for comfort, we are called to destroy ours for truth, again and again. Ego death after ego death. Initiation after initiation. We don't get to keep comfortable illusions. We don't get to hide behind titles or roles. We are stripped by life, by spirit, by force if necessary. And in that stripping we become. We become dangerous to falsehood. We become magnetic to truth. We become immune to manipulation. Because when you've watched your identity crumble 100 times and still found yourself standing, you no longer fear loss. You no longer fear being misunderstood. You no longer fear the opinions of those who've never walked through your fire. Have you ever wondered why your life has been so intense? Why your lessons came early and hard? It's because of the fourth trait, accelerated karma. We don't get to sleepwalk through life. Our growth is expedited, our pain magnified, our consequences immediate. Why? Because we're being refined faster. While others repeat the same cycles for years, we're forced to evolve within months. Our breakdowns are brutal, but so are our breakthroughs. We don't get the luxury of ignorance. Every choice, every misstep, every delay comes with a spiritual invoice. And though it feels unfair, it's actually mercy. It's the universe saying you don't have time to waste, you're needed. And so we learn fast, we fall hard, and we rise quicker than anyone expects. The fifth trait is one no one talks about because it's invisible, Our energy reshapes reality. We are walking vortexes. Our presence alone transforms rooms, not because we speak, but because we are. Our field carries codes that activate dormant truths in others. That's why some people love us instantly, and others hate us without reason. It has nothing to do with what we say and everything to do with what we emanate. Our energy speaks to the soul, not the ego. And for people not ready to evolve, that's terrifying. But for those who are ready, we become portals, catalysts, initiators of awakening. And that's why we must be careful with our presence. We must guard it, refine it, honor it. Because it's not just ours, it's a conduit for the divine. So here's a question I want to ask you now. What if your intensity, your isolation, your pain, and your silence were never signs of failure, but signs of immense spiritual responsibility? What if the very traits that made you feel broken are actually the keys to your power? Because they are. And when you learn how to work with them, when you stop dimming them, judging them, fearing them, that's when everything shifts. That's when the rise begins. The power of sacred rage and shadow memory, why they can't clone you. There is a level of power that only activates once you've been broken open beyond the point of return. It doesn't come from light. It doesn't come from soft affirmations or surface-level healing. It comes from the dark, from the sacred chaos, from the inner catacombs of the soul where pain has been buried for lifetimes. And inside that darkness, beneath the layers of grief, betrayal, and silence, there's something most people are too afraid to touch: sacred rage. But for dark chosen ones, this rage isn't a weakness. It's not something to be suppressed or medicated. It is one of our most potent traits, because our rage isn't random. It's ancestral. It's cosmic. It's encoded with data. It's the soul's immune response to injustice, deception, and energetic violation. It's there to burn away illusions and call truth to the surface. And when you learn to own it, instead of running from it, you unlock a force that nothing can replicate. They can copy your words. They can mimic your looks. They can steal your style. But they will never be able to clone your sacred rage. Because that rage is encoded with memory. Not just your personal memory, but the memory of your bloodline, your soul lineage, your past lives. You carry the pain not just of your own story, but of entire generations who couldn't speak, who couldn't fight back, who were silenced and erased. And now, through you, that voice returns. That strength returns. That fire returns. You are not just healing yourself, you are delivering messages from the unseen. And that is why you are so deeply feared and so heavily watched. The sixth hidden trait of the dark chosen ones is shadow memory. A knowing that doesn't come from textbooks. A wisdom that doesn't need to be taught. You've probably felt it. You walk into a room and feel everything. You speak to someone and instantly know what they're hiding. You touch a place and a memory surfaces, not yours but familiar. That's shadow memory. It's the soul's archive. It stores everything you've learned through lifetimes of experience, and it activates when needed. This is why you don't fit into traditional systems, because you already know things you were never supposed to know. You bypass the surface. You operate in multiple dimensions at once. And no matter how hard the world tries to categorize or dissect you, they can't. Because you are a living key. A breathing cipher. You are made of codes they were never meant to understand. And because of this, the world will often try to gaslight you, to convince you that your rage is irrational, that your knowing is paranoia, that your truth is too intense. But don't fall for it. That's how they disarm you. That's how they neuter your spiritual weapons. They want you tame. They want you quiet. They want you to self-censor your power into politeness. But your sacred rage is not to be silenced. It is to be channeled into art, into action, into awakening, into creation that tears through the veil and forces the world to see what it has avoided for far too long. And let's get brutally honest, this is why they'll never be able to replicate you. No matter how many try to imitate your energy, mimic your content, dress like you, speak like you, even practice your rituals, they will always be missing the one thing that makes you untouchable. Embodiment. You don't just say the words, you are the words. You don't just perform the magic, you are the magic. You don't just talk about transformation, you've lived it, again and again, through silence, through loss, through exile, through spiritual death, and that lived truth. That's your signature. That's your fingerprint in the quantum field. It's uncopyable. So, if you've wondered why you've been attacked for simply existing, why the world seems so uncomfortable around your presence, why people either love you deeply or turn against you violently, now you know. It's because you're carrying fire they cannot hold. It's because you're walking with memory they can't access. It's because you've integrated parts of yourself that they're still running from. And that makes you a mirror, and not everyone is ready to see their reflection. So let me ask you something that no one else will. What would happen if you stopped fearing your anger and started honoring it as a sacred compass? What if you allowed your rage to guide you not into destruction, but into divine direction? Because your rage doesn't want chaos. It wants truth. It wants freedom. It wants the full emergence of your soul's potential. And when you embrace that, when you stop apologizing for your fire, you become unstoppable. You stop waiting to be chosen. You choose yourself. You stop waiting to be understood. You understand yourself. And from that place, your presence becomes prophecy. Your life becomes legend. The invisible magnetism of the dark light, why people obsess over you. There is something hauntingly magnetic about a dark chosen one. You've felt it your entire life, though it probably confused you more than empowered you at first. People are drawn to you, but not always in ways that feel safe or healthy. You've been admired, envied, copied, desired, feared, even attacked, sometimes all by the same person. And it never made logical sense. You could be silent, minding your own energy, and still become the trigger for an entire room. You could be kind, humble, soft-spoken, and still be labeled as too much, too intense, or intimidating. But here's the truth no one tells you. Your light is not ordinary light. It's dark light, the kind that doesn't just illuminate, it reveals. And that type of light doesn't attract attention, it demands it. People don't just see you. They feel you. Not on the skin, but in the soul. You walk in and suddenly their subconscious starts remembering things they've spent years trying to forget. Your presence activates dormant truth. It stirs the buried. It calls forth the shadow. You don't even have to say a word, your energy speaks first. And the thing is, most people don't know how to interpret that kind of frequency. So they translate it through whatever filter they're carrying: love, lust, fear, insecurity, projection. That's why you've been misunderstood so often. That's why your relationships have been so complex. You're not just a person. You're a mirror, a portal, a reminder of what others have kept hidden. This magnetism is not something you chose. It's something you were born with. It's part of your soul contract. It's encoded into your aura. And the deeper you walk into alignment with who you truly are, the stronger it becomes. You start to notice that people begin to orbit around you. Some seek your wisdom. Others seek your energy. Some want to be near you just to feel something real. And others, they want to consume you, to control you, to pull from you what they've never learned to generate on their own. That's the shadow side of your magnetism. You attract not just because of what you give, but because of what you awaken. And this is where the real spiritual maturity begins. Because a dark chosen one must learn to manage this magnetism wisely. You can't just give your energy freely. You can't just open your field to everyone who's curious. You must discern between those who are ready to evolve and those who are addicted to your light but unwilling to do the work themselves. You must learn how to say no without guilt, how to walk away without explaining, how to protect your frequency like it's sacred because it is. You are not here to heal everyone who touches you. You are here to be a beacon for those who are ready to rise themselves. But this magnetism isn't just external, it's also internal. It's the pull you feel toward the unknown, the mystical, the hidden. The reason you've always been fascinated by the esoteric, the ancient, the forbidden. The reason you've explored realities that others are too afraid to question. You are not just magnetic to others, you are magnetic to truth. Even when that truth is uncomfortable, even when it shatters everything you thought you knew. That's why your path is so different. You're not here to fit into the world. You're here to decode it, disrupt it, evolve it. And the irony is, the more you embrace your dark light, the more obsessed the world becomes. Not because they understand you, but because they feel you. You represent something that cannot be fabricated. You're raw, real, rare. In a world addicted to filters and facades, your authenticity is like oxygen. And whether they love you or hate you, people can't look away. Because deep down you remind them of what they've lost, their own power. So let me ask you this, what would happen if you stopped fearing your magnetism and started mastering it? What if you stopped shrinking to be less triggering and started expanding to be more true? Because your magnetism is not a curse. It's a compass. It's showing you where you are needed. It's showing you who resonates with your soul and who is only attracted to your image. And when you own it fully, when you stop apologizing for the way your energy speaks before your mouth does, you become untouchable. You move from being reactive to being sovereign. You stop wondering why people come and go and start understanding that your field will naturally repel what's not aligned. This is the sixth hidden trait of the dark chosen, energetic sovereignty. And it's the gateway to your next level. Because once you know how to stand in your field, fully activated, unapologetically radiant, you are no longer at the mercy of other people's projections. You become the architect of your own reality. The final trait, the hidden reason you were born with unshakable purpose. There's a reason you never quite fit in. A reason you've always felt like you were playing a role in someone else's play. It's because deep down, you've always known you were here for something different, something more. That quiet, unshakable sense of purpose that's lived inside you for as long as you can remember. That's not imagination. That's memory, soul memory. It's the final, and perhaps most important hidden trait of the dark chosen ones. You were born with a mission so ancient, so encoded into your very being, that no amount of chaos, confusion, or conditioning could erase it. Even when you tried to run from it, even when you tried to numb it, it never left. Because purpose, when it's real, isn't something you find. It's something you remember. This is why your life has been so unpredictable, why the path never made sense, why traditional success didn't fulfill you. You weren't here to live a normal life. You were here to shift the collective, to be the embodiment of what others deny, ignore, or fear. And that kind of purpose doesn't come with a blueprint. It doesn't come with a map. It comes with fire. Fire that burns in your gut when you're off course. Fire that erupts in your chest when you hear truth. Fire that rises in your voice when someone tries to silence you. And that fire, it's not just passion. It's remembrance. Your soul remembering why it came here. You see, the world teaches us to seek purpose outside of ourselves, in careers, in achievements, in roles. But for us, the dark chosen one's purpose is a frequency. It's a state of being. It's the truth that we carry in our silence, in our presence, in our refusal to conform. Your purpose isn't what you do. It's who you are when you're fully aligned. When you stop filtering. When you stop performing. When you stop compromising your truth to make others comfortable. That's when your real mission begins, not when the world validates you, but when you validate yourself. And that's the secret few will ever understand. Your power was never about external influence. It was about internal embodiment. The more you become who you really are, the more the world around you begins to shift. People wake up in your presence. Systems start to glitch. Old realities collapse. Not because you're trying to force change, but because your being is the change. This is why you've always felt like you were carrying weight others couldn't see. You were. You've been anchoring codes for lifetimes, preparing for the moment when the planet would need your frequency again. And that moment is now. But here's what they don't tell you. Purpose is not always glamorous. It's often lonely. It's often misunderstood. And it rarely looks the way you imagined. Your purpose might not be a title. It might not be a brand. It might not look like success to the outside world. But to the souls who are meant to find you, to the energies that move through time and space, just to feel your truth, it is everything. Because when you live in alignment with your soul's mission, you become a living transmission. Your words carry weight. Your silence carries healing. Your existence becomes a permission slip for others to wake up. And maybe that's the real reason you've survived everything you have. Not to prove your strength, but to activate your memory. The memory of who you've always been and what you came to do. You didn't go through the fire to become inspirational. You went through the fire to become indestructible. So when the time came to finally embody your purpose, nothing could stop you. Not fear, not failure, not rejection, not loss, because you've already faced those things and survived. What's left now is clarity. So let me ask you one final question, the kind only your higher self can answer. If you stopped waiting for the world to approve your mission, what would you build? Who would you become? What truth would you finally live out loud? Because the truth is, you already know. You've always known. And now you've remembered. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be legendary. You're not here to blend in. You're here to break patterns. You're not here to play it safe. You're here to walk boldly with the weight of your soul's assignment and speak the unspeakable into the collective consciousness. You are one of the rare 1%, the dark chosen ones, the ones who carry ancient fire in modern form, the ones who take longer to rise because we are meant to rise differently, quietly, powerfully, irrevocably. And now your time has arrived. So walk, not like you're trying to prove anything, but like you are remembering everything, and let the world feel what it's been waiting for, you fully activated.